Hi everyone, you're watching the Virtual Amicus and I'm Jay Lodha. Well, today's discussion will be on a very interesting topic. It's LLM Abroad, the master's program. So we'll try to cover the entire master's program from where and how to apply, and after the completion of course, then what is waiting at the end of the tunnel. So it is said that be the senior you needed when you were a junior. So it is so important to take the right counseling, the right guidance, so that the decision making becomes a lot easier, and it ultimately helps you to take well informed decisions. So much is true for an LLM degree. So this is something that every law student or a fresh graduate thinks about once in his law school or post graduation, whether he wants to opt for his master's program or not. Where should he go? Where should he apply? Which university is prestigious? So should he do it on the basis of the course that is available or on the basis of the brand name that the university carries? So today we decided to seek assistance of a very young and dynamic counsel. He's Mr. Umang Gupta, and he's the founder of BPG Law Chambers. So just to give you a brief introduction about a speaker for today's session, he's the amicus for today's session, Mr. Gupta. He started his litigating journey from the country's apex court, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, in the chambers of renowned and eminent senior advocate Mr. Uday U. Lalit, senior advocate, as he then was, now the Honorable Judge of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and Mr. K.V. Vishwanathan, with whom Mr. Umang Gupta had successfully trained and won deep appreciation. His keen interest lies in corporate law, and that made him pursue his master's LLM in business and finance law from the George Washington University Law School at Washington, D.C. He was elected as the LLM senator to represent the LLM community at the Student Bar Association in the university. After coming back to India, Mr. Gupta had joined India's premier dispute resolution law firm, which is Agarwal Law Associates in New Delhi. And he has also previously trained at top tier firms like Herbert Smith, LLP in Singapore. And he's currently the founder of the law firm BPG Law Chambers, practices in Jaipur and Delhi. And he's been dealing and handling a matter involving legal issues of various prestigious companies, government bodies, banks, financial institutions. He's also been appointed as amicus by the Honorable Rajasthan High Court in issues with respect to environmental law. And he has an extensive practice and experience in commercial dispute resolution, litigation, arbitration, intellectual property rights, mediation, negotiations, and also focuses on matters with respect to cross-border disputes, environmental matters, land acquisition, telecom, and tax matters. He has also represented a broad range of clientele and has adequate experiences before and has conducted proceedings before the Honorable Supreme Court of India, Rajasthan High Court, both at the principal seat and Jaipur bench, Delhi High Court, and various tribunals like Telecom Tribunal, Consumer Courts, Debt Recovery Tribunal, Competition Commission, NGT, which is the National Green Tribunal, on behalf of various clients. So thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for taking out time from a busy schedule on a busy working, on a Saturday evening, in fact. And so the stage is set, the floor is all yours. And this will be in the form of a Q&A session. So Mr. Gupta, if you're ready, then we may start.
Yes, thank you, Jay. I think thank you so much for the introduction which you gave. Firstly, before starting, I would just like to thank you and your entire team of the Virtual Amicus for giving me this opportunity to express and to tell you that, you know, how important this subject is, because everybody has some difficulty or the other. And instead of, you know, giving any presentation or anything, I just thought that if we can have some kind of a question and answer session, so that people who, whether it's the lawyers, young lawyers, or the law students who are seeing this and who are very much interested in pursuing their masters in law from either India or abroad, I think this session would be very useful to them. And again, this is a fantastic and a great initiative, Jay, which I think you have done, and all my best wishes to the Virtual Amicus. Hope you keep doing fantastically well the way you're doing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for all the kind words. It really means a lot coming from you. And just something that was always in the pipeline, and we finally managed to execute it during the second wave crisis that happened. So thank you so much once again. And we didn't have a mentor back in law school days, so we are glad that the Virtual Amicus, on the Virtual Amicus today, we have a mentor in you who will be guiding not just the law students but also lawyers, and who are actually looking forward to their master's program, but have these questions, these basic little queries, that can prove to be extremely painful in their application procedure and everything. So I hope their journey is smooth through this platform. So thank you so much once again, Mr. Gupta. So I think we should proceed with our Q&A session. So here goes. So what was your experience like at the law school, Mr. Gupta? If you could please elaborate.
So I did my 5 years law school from Amity Law School, Delhi, which is affiliated to the IQ University. And I completed that in 2011. And then from there, my LLM journey started off. And so I applied in few of the universities. And, I got through the George Washington University Law School, which is in Washington, D.C. And I specialized in business and finance law. So that was more of a corporate law. And my experience, I must say, was remarkable, was fantastic. And at one point of time, I felt the quality of teaching there. The overall atmosphere was totally different. I mean, I had never experienced such a thing in India, and the kind of people you have, not only the lawyers. I must point out that there are so many judges of various countries who become students by pursuing their LLM degrees, and then you interact with them, you interact with senior lawyers, you interact with various partners of law firms, young lawyers. I mean, the experience, the exposure is tremendous. So my overall experience was fabulous. This is one thing. And you take any of the avenues, whether it is in terms of being a part of the community there. I mean, I got to be involved. I mean, I have to share this with you also, that you read out in my introduction that I became the LLM senator. So LLM senator is basically a position which is you represent all the LLM students, and I contested elections there. Okay, which I never thought of, but from starting, I thought I was helping out people with their various, whether it's with the English language or whether it's helping out students with something or the other. So this position came of LLM senator there, and it came from a lot of people that why don't I try for the position. But I thought, as you know how elections and politics is, so I thought of not doing it, because I thought I have come here to study there, but not to do all these things. But eventually I tried for it, and I was against a German fellow friend only. Okay, and we both contested this fight for the LLM senator. And but that experience, I mean, was again fantastic. I got through. I got about 90% of votes in my favor, and this position came, and then it was a great learning experience for me, where I represented the LLM students. I helped them out with a lot of their queries. I was basically a bridge between them and the teachers. So if anything had to be conveyed, I represented them. So I think it was overall a fabulous experience for me at the law school there.
Wow, that's wonderful. I mean, first pursuing a master's from a prestigious institute or university, and then contesting elections there. That is amazing. I'm sure that would have been a very fruitful and amazing experience for you. So,
Yes, it was. I mean, just to add on, sorry to interrupt you.
no
I
problem.
mean, it was, I mean, it was like a very proper election which we had. I had to, get my some picture clicked, which, I was thinking, what all rubbish is this? And then there was a particular budget which we had, and we could not exceed that. And then, how these billboards are. So we had to put the little bit of a message on those billboards in the college, and it was our responsibility to again take them off. And then you reach out to so many people, like from our in our university, in our program, we had people from more than 50 countries, with a batch of 100 students. and the way you interact with them, various countries, and somebody would tell you that, okay, why do you want a vote from us? Okay, why don't you, can you do something for us? So I used to say, tell me. So I say, you have to dance in front of us, okay, or you have to sing, okay, and then only you'll get the vote. But so I mean, these kind of experiences in a light, it was all in a lighter way, but I think it was very good, all these experiences.
Great. And I think to add to what you said, sometimes the master's program is not just about value addition, that it will benefit me in litigation or it will benefit me in corporate transactional work that I do after that. Sometimes it's about these rich experiences that you go through in life that groom you as an individual or as a person, and you carry back these fond memories of those campus years. And it's not just about those 9 months or 10 months, or it's just a 1 year program and it's not even rigorous. Why should I go for it? I think if you get the opportunity, you should definitely go ahead and pursue your master's program, because this is what you experience there, and this is something that it's worth experiencing once in a lifetime at least.
I
So
mean, yes, if you get this opportunity, and I say that, let's say if we are in Jaipur city, okay, and if we get an opportunity to go to any other city, we learn from it, okay. And similarly, if we are able, and if we are fortunate to get an opportunity to go outside India, and we should grab it with both hands. And even if in these 9 months or 1 year of the program, you might not be able to get so much theoretically, okay, but yes, you do get theoretical knowledge. You get how their laws in United States it works, because their laws are really developed as compared to our laws. So what I felt is, overall grooming of your personality surely helps you. And how life of a lawyer is today. So it's not only the bookish knowledge, it's not only the theoretical knowledge which we need. We also need, we need to represent our clients. So overall, the your personality development is very important.
exactly, I still I wish to add to that. I think that 1 year, that 1 month that I had in Netherlands, I think changed me as a person completely. So I think it is so important, this exposure you get, be it at a local level or at a global level. So question number two, I think, so I'd go ahead with the next question. Does being in the right city matters, as one can gain a lot of practical knowledge?
I think yes, Jay, because sometimes what happens is, let's say you get stuck to some city which is really not giving you so much, and sometimes there are some colleges which might be a little boring, or very much you're not getting something from that college. So what happens is, when you are at a particular city, let's say you are in Washington, you are in London, you are in Singapore and Sydney and all these kind of places, your college is there. But sometimes, let's say if you want to visit their federal courts, or you want to visit their Supreme Court, or let's say I got an opportunity to visit a lot of the law firms in US, interact with the law firm partners, something with the government people also. So I mean, so it helps you, that's what I feel. But it depends on person to person. Like, for example, I am more of a person who would like, to go out in the city, and explore the city. When you are such a short period of time in a particular country, you would want to extract the maximum from that. So I felt Washington being the capital, and being a city which has so much international exposure, it gave me much more than, I would say, even it gave me from the college also. So I think choosing the right city is also sometimes very important, and I would advise everyone to, the kind of personality you are, the kind of person you are, the kind of future you would want. I think it's always better to think about a city, think about the country, and then apply, and then go for the particular university.
Great. Moving forward now. Number three, how does one decide which university to apply and what program to take there?
See, one is you will have to do a research. Okay, there are today so many universities. Specifically, people like to always go when I'm talking about international universities. Okay, I'm talking about US and UK. And even if let's say if we talk about India also, there are so many universities which are providing you with the LLM program. Now you need to see whether what course, what program is suitable for you. You know, it depends. Are you experienced? Have you really thought of that? Yes, you know, you can specialize in a particular field, or you know, these are the requirements. These are the particular scope of work which I will have to do in the particular course. Okay, and this is what is expected out of me, because sometimes what happens is that the course is too voluminous. Okay, and we really do not, we feel that we really cannot handle it, or let's say I do not have an interest towards that particular field. Let's say, for example, taxation. Somebody might not have an interest towards taxation. Let's say somebody might have an interest towards intellectual property. So you cannot apply in some university where you know that, for example, George Washington is quite famous for its intellectual property and its business and finance law program. So if you want to apply for taxation, I mean, you know, I would refrain that, you know, please do not apply there. There are various other universities. So keeping in mind your interest, keeping in mind, the course curriculum which is there, and you know, overall you'll have to see, but you should also talk to the various alumni. That's one advice I would like to give you, that the alumni can really help you out. For example, I can tell you about my college, and everybody can tell about their college. So that is the best way. The Indians who have traveled there, and or let's say if you're talking about the Indian universities, you can always talk about the alumni in Indian universities and how they have gone back and how that has helped them in their practice. So I think that's how you will have to mix match and then finally decide.
Alumni, you said, I think, plays a pivotal role there, and also I think it's very important to take the right guidance from your seniors of law school. And but to add to that, suppose if there is a law student, or let's say there's a graduate who's confused after those 5 years of pursuing his LLB, and he still wants to pursue his masters. So would you recommend taking a sabbatical then, or taking a time off?
See, I think that's a very interesting question, and that's the most difficulty which every law student or a lawyer they face, because they have no idea. You know, for example, me, I just immediately went after my law school, so I felt, you know, let me finish my studies first, okay, so that, you know, I don't have to come back again and, you know, give exams and get into all those, you know, readings and all which are so voluminous. Whereas if you ask some people, they will always say that, let's say they work for 3 4 years, and then they feel that, okay, now they want to make a career in arbitrations. Okay, and they feel that, okay, that's an interest area which really likes me. So sometimes that also helps them, and then they identify and then it helps them in sometimes that experience in getting through the law school. And various law schools, various countries have their different ways of, you know, selecting the students. So I think we will come to that part later. But just to answer you, I think it's an individualistic approach which everybody has to take, that whether they want to immediately go after their law school or wait for a few years and then apply again, or take some sabbatical, or, you know, just take it easy and think about that, okay, this is something which really interests them. Because at that point of time, it was not that something which really interested me, that, oh, this is something which I really wanted to make a career. Yes, I had an interest, but not something which I felt that, oh, in business and finance law I want to make my career. So it depends on person to person. For me, I will always advise that if given an opportunity at any point of time, one should go and apply and get a good university and just go for it.
Okay, fine. So coming to our next question, are recommendation letters more important than your academic performance, or is it vice versa, or it purely depends on the course, or both?
I think that's a very, very important question where so many of us, you know, we miss out on, which is the issue about, and the question about letter of recommendations. And specifically what Indians do is that they write their own letter of recommendation, okay, which is extremely sad. And the examiners who are examining the applications, because they are so used to seeing the applications, and they know from India, most of the students, they write their own application and get it signed from some, either a lawyer or a professor
Legal
or a judge,
luminary,
or
some legal luminary.
legal luminaries, exactly. So, but it doesn't help in that way. I mean, my advice, and what they would also do is, second wrong thing which they do is that they will write long letter of recommendations. Somebody would write 2 pages recommendation, 3 pages recommendation. For example, now if I want to recommend somebody, I cannot write 2 pages and 3 pages about that person. Okay, I can just write, let's say, a page about that person, or maximum a page and a half. That's it. But the letter of recommendations, they cross 3 pages, 4 pages. I mean, that clearly shows that you're writing something about yourself by your own words, okay. And so it's not a recommendation, okay, it's just a favor which somebody is doing. So what I would advise is that wherever the student has interned or the lawyer has worked, and one recommendation should always be from a teacher or a professor or the vice chancellor or whoever is into the academic field. And one is where you have worked. So, and you should allow them to write whatever they want to write. I mean, I know it's a little bit of a hassle, and they will tell you that, please, why don't you write for us and we will sign it. But you please tell them that no, that's not the way it works. And the examiners will get to know it's something, it's a question about my life. Okay, you can just guide them that these are the kinds of formats a letter of recommendation is needed. So I think that's why letter of recommendations have to be taken very, very seriously.
Also, in most cases that we've seen, Mr. Gupta, that students generally don't pay attention to academics in law school. They feel that it's a 5 year course, so why should we study? Because ultimately we'll get a degree and it will be an LLB course. So how does it matter? But it is so important to have the right grades, and because that's the only assessment that a university abroad would have. And especially when you
Exactly.
take a recommendation letter from a professor, and if you so that's the only assessment that you've got in terms of your documentary evidence
Exactly,
proving that
because
you are a good student.
exactly, you're right. So because they would need your transcripts, they would need your marks, okay, and that's the whole basis, from where the authenticity can come. So if your grades are poor, and if you do not pay interest, and I mean, academics are very important, which very few of us understand. Maybe practical knowledge is, everybody starts focusing on internships. How should I get an intern? How should I get an intern? And everybody just forgets about performing well, and they just feel that, oh, let's just pass. But that doesn't happen when you want to pursue your LLM. So there's no entrance exam. So it's all about academics, and the letter of recommendations which is there.
Because I think ultimately students really need to realize that their role, their job is to study, focus. Their academics has to be the forefront, and while other activities can wait, but academics cannot be compromised at any cost. So that's a very good point that you made, Mr. Gupta. I'm sure our viewers listening will definitely benefit from this, that please pay attention to your academics, don't ignore it at any cost. Now, coming to a very important question, at least I in my law school days didn't understand this concept. So I would benefit from this. What exactly is a statement of purpose, and how important it is? So what does a university expect, out of a student or a fresher or a lawyer, to write in that SOP? And can it, in many cases that we've seen, that even an SOP is plagiarized. People are copying it from somebody else's recommendation or an purpose letter. So, how should one go about it? If you could explain.
See, the statement of purpose, which is the SOP, is the first document which is required from the university. And what people do is, and they used to ask me also when I got through the law school, that, hey, can you please share me your statement of purpose, so that I can just make some additions, subtractions, or I'll just cut copy yours. I mean, I did not mind any, in sharing it. Okay, it's always good to help out. And but what you have to write in statement of purpose is that, number one, how one is, why do you want to choose this course? Okay, this is very important, that people write everything, this that, but instead of writing the actual reason, okay, that why, for example, you want to do intellectual property, so why do you want to specialize in this intellectual property? Number one, once you answer that, then you have to move on that how this program, if you take this program and if you are admitted in this program after a year, how will this program benefit you futuristically in your professional and work life? And if they see that both these things have matching up together, okay, that let's say in intellectual property, you say that you have a keen interest in intellectual property, and you have done this, you have done these many internships at so and so, so and so, and this program will even benefit me, and the US laws or whichever country's laws will add on to my overall betterment. And once I complete my program, then I would, let's say, go back to my country or join some office which will be in intellectual property. And by this program, it will surely help me in taking my career path ahead. So that matching is very important. But people, instead of writing these two things, they write everything else. So and again, please, no cut copy. um, Again, I would like to say this, which I have said for letter of recommendation, that the examiners, they get to know at looking at the statement of purpose that this is a cut copy. And again, Indians have a terrible reputation of cut copying, because we are so used to cut copying everywhere. Whether it's in our courts also, we are so used to cut copying. So please, whether you just write one page statement of purpose, but please write it the way you speak from your heart, that why genuinely you would want to pursue this program.
I think to all the viewers who are watching this, plagiarism attracts a major penalty. And in that case, it could be denial of admission to that course. So please try and understand, it could be a dream that can be ruined in seconds. Never ever copy your SOPs. It has to be original, it has to be authentic, because ultimately you are doing it for yourself. Don't copy somebody else's recommendation or somebody else's statement. So yeah, that will really benefit that answer. Next, coming back to our Q&A session. So the next question moving forward, does this LLM, or what we call it, a master's program, help a candidate getting a job in the country where they pursue it from?
See, today, if somebody wants to leave their country, and I'm talking about mainly international programs today, so it surely, answer is yes, it helps. Okay, but to expect that now I have got an LLM degree and I will immediately get a job, I think that's a wrong perception which most of the people they carry. Because once we leave here, a lot of people, what they do is that they feel LLM is a step towards getting a job abroad. Okay, that's not the case at all, because you have their own local lawyers. Okay, for example, just assume if foreign lawyers come to India and if they study LLM program, will the law firms or senior lawyers or lawyers, will they recruit them? I mean, answer is no, unless and until they get something on the table. Okay, and we have not even allowed entry of foreign law firms even till today also. So and we expect that foreign lawyers like us go there and they allow us to work, and they give employment to us rather than giving employment to the person who has done an LLB or a JD program from there. So, but I do not want to dishearten anyone who is planning or who wishes to go and pursue this LLM program, because yes, your chances of getting the job, whether it's in Asian countries also, because Asian market is really opening up, like Hong Kong and China and Singapore and Malaysia, all these places now, because the the program sometimes is too expensive and too far off from India. I'm talking about UK and US. So people prefer sometimes Asian countries as well. So even they are welcoming that if you have an LLM program, we can recruit you, provided you have to clear the bar exam there. So clearing the bar exam is not easy, I would say that. So to answer your question, yes, it surely helps. But to go with a preconceived mind that yes, I'll get a job immediately after doing an LLM, that is completely wrong.
I think to sum it all up, every country obviously gives importance to its local lawyers. I mean, why would they prefer someone who's a foreign national to them, who's unsuited to their litigating or corporate atmosphere or climate, someone who's been well versed with their laws? Why would they give an opportunity to somebody else? So it is very important to understand, as Mr. Gupta rightly pointed out and said, that don't carry too many expectations and just don't be overburdened by those expectations. Don't go with a preconceived mindset that, okay, fine, after these 9 months I will end up getting a job and I will do well for myself. Be motivated, remain motivated, and perform well in academics there. Pursue it, give your level best, with your best of your abilities, but then don't carry these unwanted and unwarranted expectations, and don't let them overburden. So yes, I think that will really benefit. So the next question moving forward, general LLM or a specialized LLM? So specialized in the sense that one particular field, be it IPR, international arbitration, etc., or it could be a general LLM where you get to study a little bit of everything, like a buffet platter, and then ultimately you decide, okay, fine, this is where I'm good at, this is what I really want, and then I can take this forward.
I think, according to me, I think specialization is the need of the hour today. So, you talk to anyone and they'll say that, are you specializing in something? Or have you specialized in your LLM? And if you say, oh, my LLM was just a general LLM, it doesn't really help out. So I think my answer to that is specialization. But just to add a caveat here, that if you really feel that you have no idea that you want to specialize in environmental law, or you want to specialize in air and space law, or whatever field, so then I think you can pursue, let's say you get a very, very good university, okay, and you really don't want to miss that opportunity, but you're getting in general LLM. So, having a bit of, as you say, that a buffet a program is also not bad, but I would always advise that go for a specialization as soon as you get to know the answer that, okay, you want to specialize in this field, and because specialization is the need of the hour, and it will be the future. And you can always put on your visiting card, you can always tell somebody that, oh, you are specialized in this, and that puts a better impact as just a general LLM.
So correct me if I'm wrong, that a specialized course would attract a specialist professor, which is not the case in a general program, or it depends again on the university. We can't generalize it, obviously, that a good professor will always be in a specialized program. Otherwise, a general course would attract a commoner.
See, I can tell you about my experience that whatever course I had taken in my program, I think most of the professors were good. So, so what it can happen is, for example, somebody, if you take up a particular course, some visiting professor or somebody, let's say, is specialized in that field, can come and even teach you that. So that can help you. But otherwise, every program has amazing professors, and they are specializing in their own field. So I don't think so that should be a problem.
Okay, thank you so much. So moving forward, question 8, will you recommend taking work experience first or heading it for straight away? I think that you've already answered. It's an individual
Correct.
choice,
Yes.
and you can always. Uh, Now comes a very important part. This is the financial part, funding or a scholarship. Now, let's take an example of a person or a law graduate X, extremely hardworking, motivated, industrious, brilliant, knows in which field he wants to do his master's from, but unfortunately comes from a humble background, cannot afford it. So would you still recommend to a person like Mr. X to apply for a scholarship and go with a scholarship, or he should wait, work for some time, get his financial position right, and then pursue it?
I think it's a very good question, because that's where I think most of us face a lot of difficulties. And it's, sometimes people who have traveled are really fortunate enough that they have been able to do so. But to answer your question, that whether we should wait and have and arrange some finances and then go, or apply for a scholarship, I think you should do both. What we feel sometimes is that there would be nobody to help us out. Okay, but if you look up the particular universities, I know few universities, okay, where they are providing special scholarship to people coming from developing countries, some special scholarships for people coming from Asian countries, okay, and some people coming from a specialized field. And we feel that, oh, why will we get that scholarship? We are nothing, and we won't be able to write. So problem is, people don't make efforts in getting through the scholarships program. Okay, they do not want to read about the scholarship program. They just feel that they are hopeless, and it's going to be so difficult to get this scholarship. But that's not the case. Sometimes when you write well and when you look up well, you are able to get scholarships. Also, one more thing is there, that for example, you can always approach few companies. I know few companies that if you tell them that this is what you plan to take up this program, and maybe you come to the company as the legal advisor or as the general counsel, so they might again sponsor you. Okay, and so that's how the company also gets benefit, you also get benefit. So I think there are various avenues which people ignore, and they just feel that, let me arrange for the finances. If you're able to arrange for it, nothing like it. But still, the doors are not closed. And if you are not able to get through, let's say, some very expensive university, you can always look up. Even India has amazing universities. Even Dubai, let's say, has amazing universities. Europe has amazing universities, which might be slightly lesser than as compared to other countries. Australia has some good universities, so it doesn't matter that really you choose, that university only. So keeping in mind your financial position, your course, your interest, I think overall you should look it up.
So ultimately, you need to weigh all these options and all these options that you've got, and then take a call as to where to go and what to do. So thank you. Then thank you for that wonderful response. Now the next one, LLM abroad and litigation here, does it help in terms of value addition? Because ultimately you are before a court of law and you are doing what others are doing as well. So how does it benefit as a practitioner, legal practitioner?
See, if you're talking about litigation, uh, I think what I can just answer is that if you do an LLM, it will help you. But even if you do not do an LLM, okay, it's not something where you will miss out on litigation. Okay, even you can do very well without that also. But my advice is that, let's say you want to get into litigation or you do not want to get into litigation, one should always have some kind of specialization. Like you see the doctors also now today, there's so much of specialization happening in their field as well. And so my advice is that at the end of the day, somewhere or the other, it will help you. Even in litigation also, you get that more confidence to argue the matter. For example, I'll just tell you one thing, that all our assignments were done on computers, our exams were done in computers when I was there in my program. So I got the hang of using the computer much more. For example, all the notes were prepared there. So now sometimes when it comes to daily life and doing my work, sometimes I try and incorporate those also. So it might not directly help you that, oh, the law which I studied there, am I studying it here? But there are few small things which will add on, and it's going to give better results for you and better results for the clients as well.
I think to add to that, I think academics somehow keeps you grounded also. So the more you read, the more you realize that, okay, fine, I didn't know this. Now I should go ahead and read this as well. I should read that as well. And there's no such thing as a practical aspect when it comes to litigation. To all the viewers who are watching, one has to be very creative because the times have changed, and especially during and post COVID era, one has to understand the importance of specialization in fields. And as Mr. Gupta wonderfully and rightfully pointed out, doctors these days are also showcasing their credentials in terms of where they specialize in, what they've done. You see so many conferences on their letterheads as well, that he's attended so and so conference there, he's done so and so. I mean, you don't need it as an MBBS grad, but then obviously these things help in terms of personality development, the skill set that you inherit. And I would personally recommend this program in either which ways, whether you can afford it or not, because these experiences are for a lifetime and they go a long way with you. So I think that makes a lot of sense then. And lastly, any memorable moments that if you can recollect, remember, share with us on as a
Memorable moments there. See one memorable moment which one or two maybe I can, if we have time. Okay. I'll tell you that what happened was, because I became the senator there. Okay. And what happened was that there was a conference at the World Bank which was going to happen, and there was an invitation which came from the World Bank for few of the law students, especially the LLM program. And what was happening was that only a few of the students were getting called at that program. So the students told me that, Umang, we have appointed you as the senator and our representative, so you have to make sure that please go and talk to the professors or go and talk to the dean, that why are we not being included in this conference? Because we also want to attend the talk at the World Bank, and that's why we have come here. So I felt that, oh God, now I have to talk to the dean, and what if she tells me something, that why are you getting involved in this, and these are the students which I have selected, and if I have not selected somebody, it's my choice. But then at the end of the day, I thought that I've always stood by the students, and I've always I felt that no, I should go and talk to the dean, and I should tell her and tell the other professors as well, that the students are feeling a little bit disheartened, that why this is happening. If it's a very clear process, then the students should get to know about it. So I told her that, and then I said, this is what is happening. And she told me, no, there is no as such any favoritism which is going on. It is just some kind of, we are selecting 20 students this time, and then next time another 20 will be selected. Okay. And that's how she gave me an background about it. So I said, I think you should tell this and be very clear and transparent to the students, so that they don't feel disheartened, because they have come all the way, leaving their countries and families, and to get the maximum learning from what they can get. So then she conveyed that, please, this is not the way it is happening, and not to worry. And and then after that, everybody became very relaxed. So I think I felt good about it, that I was able to reach out to the students and the professors, and I think I felt quite contented at that time. So that's, I think, one of the memorable experience which I felt.
Wow, that's amazing. If you ask me, then, well, my most cherished moment would be when I visited the International Court of Justice. And I think everything that I thought about the ICJ, whatever notions that I had, things just changed, because this is this one grand courtroom, and all these international proceedings that takes place and that you've seen or read about in moot court competitions. That was an unbelievable thing. I mean, it may not be the most uh, artistic or the most beautiful buildings that you've seen, but this is one feeling that you'll cherish forever, that you were in the International Court of Justice. So that's so, so
That's tremendous. I mean, the kind of exposure which we all can get now, but most important is, how do whatever we have learned, how can we apply it today in our lives? I think that's what we should all try, and I think that's how you are doing that through this your virtual amicus. That's what I feel. That whatever story everybody has, and whatever knowledge they have, wherever they have learned, whether it's in the college or school or law school, whatever. I think that's the whole purpose in giving back to the society, and that's the whole purpose why you have started your YouTube virtual channel.
Absolutely, and I think the endeavor on the Virtual Americas is always to showcase good content over glamorous presentations. We try to call experts, not self-proclaimed, but the ones who actually proved their mettle, who are very passionate about what they've done, and who can any person who's watching this from any remote corner in India, and even if he benefits it to an extent, I think a purpose will be fulfilled and the objective will be achieved. So
Yes, and just one line I would like to add,
yeah, please go.
that if anybody has any queries, or if they have, I'm sure they can reach out to you, okay? And if they have specific where they are feeling that, okay, that's how should I move from here, and they can always come, and I'm very open about things, and always there to help anyone, if they are facing any difficulty.
Yes, so to all the viewers, our email is already mentioned on the channel. So please, I'm sure this session has exhausted and covered most of your queries. But in case if anything has been left behind, feel free to write to us. We'll forward it as it is to our amicus for today's session, Mr. Umang Gupta, who will be willingly and he'll happily assist us on that. Or you can write to him directly as well. So, wow, that was an amazing session. Thank you so much, Mr. Umang Gupta, for taking out time on a weekend, on a Saturday evening, and I'm sure this segment will benefit all our viewers who are watching. So stay tuned. Next episode is on its way. Please like, subscribe, share my channel. And thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, once again, and hope to see you soon on this virtual platform of ours on a different subject. So stay home, stay indoors. Please be safe. Take good care of yourselves. Venture out only when it's very essential. Mask up if you venture out. And it's goodbye for now. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta.